Hello students, now we are going to start with this chapter, Transportation in Animals and Plants. You know students that all living organisms like plants and animals need of food, oxygen and water so that they can survive. These elements need to be delivered to their body parts so that they can function properly. Hence, all the living organisms need a transport system in their body. For the transportation, the main parts of the circulatory system are blood, blood vessels and heart. The circulatory system is a transport system of a human body which consists of a network that supplies food, water, oxygen and other substances throughout the body. Now let us discuss about blood. Blood is a red color fluid that flows in our body through the blood vessels. Now what is the function of blood? Yes, the blood acts as a medium of transportation of essential substances throughout our body, such as oxygen, nutrients, etc. The blood also carries waste materials to the kidney, which then filters the blood. The blood also protects the body from losing blood by forming a blood clot at a place of injury. The blood contains a special substance that helps in regulating the temperature of the body. Now coming to the components of blood. Blood can perform different functions because of the different substances present in it. Here in this figure students, you can see the human circulatory system that is made up of vein, arteries and heart. Now in the second figure, you can see the components of blood. The first component is blood plasma. It is the liquid substance present in the blood. Almost 55% of the blood is blood plasma. This blood plasma facilitates the transportation of different substances throughout the body. The plasma is mostly made up of water, salt, fat, proteins and sugar. Then comes red blood cell or erythrocytes. They are present in ample amount in the blood, 40 to 45% part. They are red in color because they contain a special pigment called hemoglobin. The oxygen we take in binds itself with the hemoglobin and hence reaches to the every cell of the body through the blood. Then comes white blood cell or we can say leukocytes. They are present in fewer amounts, almost 1%, but perform a vital function in the body. These cells fight against the germs present in the body. Then comes blood platelets. These are the cells that helps in the formation of blood clot and prevent the blood from flowing out of the body due to injury. Now blood vessels. You know, our body contains tube-like structures called the blood vessels that help in the transportation of blood throughout our body. Our body contains two types of blood vessels based on the function they perform. They are arteries and veins that we will discuss in next slide. First of all, we will discuss about capillaries. Capillaries are small blood vessels. The arteries divide themselves into capillaries which then deliver oxygenated blood to the tissues in the body, and then these capillaries take up the deoxygenated blood from the tissues to the veins. We can say that capillaries are the connecting link between the arteries and the veins. Here you can see the difference between the arteries and the veins. The arteries are the blood vessels which carry blood from the heart. It means it carries the oxygenated blood from the heart to the different parts of the body. But the veins carry deoxygenated blood from the body organs to the heart. Arteries have thick blood thick valves as the blood pressure is quite high in these blood vessels. But veins do not have thick wall as the blood pressure is quite low in them. Third point, they are narrow so that the blood can flow quickly through them. But veins are slightly wider than the arteries. The very important point, the arteries do not contain the valves as the blood in arteries always flow in the right direction due to the pumping of the heart. But the veins contain valves that prevent the backflowing of the blood. Now coming to the pulse. We know that heart pumps the blood in the arteries. The continuous pumping of blood in the arteries results in the rhythmic throbbing which is called pulse. And the pulse rate is number of pulse beats per minute, that is called pulse rate. The normal pulse rate of human being is 70 to 80 beats per minute. You can see in the figure how we take the count of pulse. Now students, a very important thing, we will learn about our heart. Our heart is an organ present in our body that pumps the blood in the blood vessel. It is located in the chest cavity and its lower part is slightly tilted towards the left. Our heart is four-chambered. The upper two parts are called auricles, the right atrium and the left atrium, and the lower two chambers are called right ventricle and the left ventricle. The blood from the body, it means the deoxygenated blood, comes to the right atrium with the help of two veins, that is called superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. From this right atrium, the blood is passed to the right ventricle. From this right ventricle, the blood is passed to the lungs through a pulmonary artery. Now students, you will be surprised that artery carries the pure blood. Yes, this is one exception, that this pulmonary artery is the only artery present in our body that carries the impure blood. Now, when this blood reaches to the lungs, there in the alveoli, the carbon dioxide goes out and oxygen gets mixed in the blood, and it is then carried to the left atrium with the help of pulmonary vein. Yes student, again the vein is carrying the pure blood. This because this is again one exception in the case of vein. The only vein in our body that carries the pure blood. This blood comes to the left atrium, then it goes to the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle with the help of aorta, it will go back to the different parts of our body. This is how our heart works. Now, heartbeat. The muscles of the heart relax and contract continuously as it pumps the blood in the arteries. The rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the heart is called heartbeat. This heartbeat is measured with the help of an instrument that is called stethoscope. This stethoscope is actually made up of two parts, the earpiece and the chest piece. This chest piece is made up of a sensitive diaphragm. This diaphragm actually amplifies the heartbeat and it is heard through the earpiece. It is heard through earpieces. So in this way the stethoscope works. The main principle is the amplification of the sound, that is the heartbeat. Now students, we will learn about transportation in plants. How the waters and minerals get transported in the plant body. The roots of the plant absorb the essential minerals and water from the soil. The root have hair-like structures present on them that are called root hairs. These hairs increase the surface area of the root, hence allow more amount of absorption. Then from the roots, The water and minerals are transported to other parts of the plant through a special kind of tissue called vascular tissues. There are two types of vascular tissues present. You can see in this diagram. First one is xylem. It is a vascular tissue that is responsible for transporting nutrients and water in the plant. The root cells absorb water and nutrients and transport it to the xylem. Xylem carries it to the other parts. Unidirectional flow is there without usage of energy. In phloem, it is also a type of vascular tissue, and it transports the prepared food to the different parts of the plant. Actually, it carries the prepared food from the leaves to the different part of the plant. And this is a bidirectional flow, so it utilizes energy. And this process is also known as translocation. Students, you can see that how root here takes in the this water and minerals from the this spaces which is present between the soil particles. Now, very important process, transpiration. Sometimes not all the water that plants absorb is used by them. Hence, they need to get rid of the excess water in them. This loss of water in plants takes place through the process of transpiration, in which the water evaporates in the atmosphere through the stomata present on the leaves. Stomata are tiny pores present on the leaves that allow the movement of gases and water through them. What are the uses of transpiration? What are the advantages of transpiration? This transpiration results in the absorption of water. As the water from the leaves evaporate, it generates a suction pull in the plants that bring the water from the root upward. Second is, transpiration helps in cooling down the plants. As the water evaporates, it utilizes the heat of the plant and result in cooling of the internal temperature of the plant. Thank you, students.